Bonjour et bienvenue à cette édition du Festival de Cannes. Je suis Jenna Suru de la Radio du Cinéma et j'ai le grand plaisir de vous inviter ici au pavillon Afrique pour la présentation du film Black Terror avec l'ensemble de l'équipe. Welcome, bienvenue to Cannes.
Bonjour. Thank you. Bonjour.
So, Richard, you are the director of this amazing feature film called Black Terror, and this is the premiere here in Cannes, and in particular this afternoon at Pavillon Afrique. I want to pick up on something that is part of your teaser. It's ending with, I'm going to quote, "Don't let the media fool you." I want to ask you if you can tell us how developing the characters with your cast and crew is telling a story that will self-empower the audience here in Cannes and beyond.
The whole journey of this group, these revolutionaries, this particular group is trying to right the wrongs of what the conditions are in this country. And a lot of what has occurred and is occurring is in terms of messages that are not correct. Starting with the messages that the people themselves got from their master, and the elimination of all the messages that came with them through their legacy was destroyed. So through the media, we are sometimes fooled by the messages that are presented, and so the purpose of this film is to get people in discussion and dialogue about what is true and which way forward for this country as it relates to all marginalized people, but particularly African.
I understand that you're a master extraordinaire in acting, but also working with sports team. Can you tell us how you worked with the characters and probably the cast, I guess, with here? From right to left, Tobias Trevillon, bonjour, welcome.
Bonjour.
Can you give us your perspective?
My perspective on the character? Or
how you developed your own, I guess, with Richard?
Yeah, well, I wanted to piggyback on what Mr. Lawson said, but just like about making the world smaller, figuring out how we can have better conversations. I believe Black Terror will deliver that kind of message and open up a dialogue and a discussion. I'm very proud to be here with my family here, and welcome and thank you to Cannes for having us. It's been a wonderful experience so far. But yeah, I play KUC. KUC is a Army war vet who has some value to the liberation, and through this story we see KUC's at a crossroads, and we see where he's headed, and through that I think he kind of has a little bit of a love story that's intertwined with him finding his way through this liberation struggle. I look forward to everyone seeing this film. I think everybody's going to really enjoy the message that we deliver that is prevalent in the Americas, but still has a broad message across this world.
Welcome, Taylor Edwards. Your character in the film is quite committed, isn't she? She is somehow a revolutionary, which can also resonate with France. Can you tell us about how you work to make sure that your character also meant something to the audience?
Yeah, absolutely. So my character's name is Embalia, and she is she's a very committed revolutionary, committed to the revolution, doing whatever it takes to progress the people forward. Honestly, we have to give it up to the master, Richard. The thing is, we spent so much time developing the characters with him that I knew her inside out. I knew all of her wants and needs, to where I could just kind of release and allow her needs to just go through me and be a vessel. So I hope I tell the story authentically. I know that we worked really hard on it, so I can't wait for everyone to see it.
Oh yeah.
Excellent. Nia Miranda, you seem to agree.
Yes, I do agree. I play the character of Sister in the film. What's interesting, you said, don't let the media fool you. And that was actually a snippet of a real video that I took back in 2020 during the protests in not just America, but all over the world after the death of George Floyd. And that video went viral because it was the first time showing the world that it was not people that looked like me that was vandalizing our communities. And it wasn't people who looked like me that, you know, was tearing down things. It was other people. And that video was giving us proof. And that's where that "don't let the media" quote stems from. Is just, we have to see for ourselves. We can look at TV and believe everything that's on there, but when you go into our communities, you see the truth. And I believe that Black Terror brings out the truth for our communities, as well as for what our future could potentially be. I think Sir Richard Lawson has done a phenomenal job with directing. He worked with each of us to make sure we were clear on the vision and clear with what this film meant, not just as entertainment, but what it meant for our community moving forward.
Do you agree with also the more, I guess, recent historical part? Was it important to you to
Yes.
tell the message?
Yes, of course. I think a great part about this story is it allows people to gain a perspective on empathy, maybe from someone whose shoes they don't walk in on an everyday basis. You know, we are all different, but we are all sharing a human experience, right? And we all desire and crave love and support and protection. And this is a story of people who are seeking that for their community. You know, when we are in opposition to others who threaten that, we do what we can to protect that. And I believe this group is a group of individuals that is their desire and their goal to protect that love, and that it's an interesting journey. I play Brother Ahmed in the movie, and it's an internal conflict and an internal struggle going on within the struggle for what's going on the outside. So you'll get to see that. But I do believe that, and I believe Mr. Lawson has done a great job putting this cast together. It's an amazing cast, a beautiful cast, very talented cast, and I'm honored to be with that. Absolutely.
The film was supported by two non-profits from the two coasts in the United States. Why is the element of threat so important to address in the film to better educate?
If I understand your question, this film is a co-production by New Jersey Symphony Hall and Waco Theater Center, and the play was written 50 years ago. It was a play. It was a successful play in 1971 at the Public Theater in New York, won awards, award-winning play. And the subject of the play, the words that Richard Wesley wrote, I found resonated today. When you look at what the Supreme Court is doing, and they have lifetime memberships or jobs, they're going to be there until they die. They are already eroding the advancements that have been made by of Black Americans. And so if you look forward another 10, 20, 30 years, not even that far, just a few, but certainly projecting out that far, you will see that every gain that is made for and by African Americans will be lost. And so where are we? And so it is important for us to understand where we're going and whose responsibility that is to do something about it. So the subject of revolution comes up, and most people think in terms of military revolution, and that is certainly one of the things that's discussed in this film very strongly. But the other thing that is discussed through the Cuse's character is we can't win that war. We have to look at a fiscal, political, social, spiritual revolution to make change. We can't take 100% of our resources, give them away, and then blame those people on 100% of our problems. So it's upon us as Black people to take responsibility for the $2 trillion that we generate a year, which is equivalent to the 10th largest country, that we have power if we know how to resource that and point it in the right direction, so that we can bring and keep money in our community longer than the 6 hours that it currently stays there, versus 30 days for the Asian community. So we have to do what other cultures are doing, which we have not done. And it's on us as Black people to take responsibility for our own destiny, because we can't blame other people. It ain't about black and white. It's about self-preservation, and it's about understanding the power that we do have and trying to manifest that. And so this film is meant to activate that discussion. It's not meant to create dissent. It's to create discussion. So we, as Black people, can sit down and talk about which way forward.
And last but not least, you are here, Richard, with your cast and crew to present the film in Cannes at the Pavillon Afrique. In comparison with the screenplay you mentioned, what do you expect the Francophone audience who are listening and watching to this to pick up from your film?
Well, I'm happy to be in a country that understands revolution. Because you all are like, I'm surprised there's not somebody marching down the street right now. And it doesn't mean it won't happen before we finish filming.
Absolutely.
And so in an environment like that, it's at least we're in a place where people understand the aspect of revolution and the meaning of taking responsibility for your own future. I look at Ukraine and I am empowered by their will to not relent to becoming indentured servants. We as a people who have been indentured servants of sorts, and to some degree still are on a certain level, that we're in a perfect place to talk about it where we will at least be understood. And hopefully that message will get out to some of the other people in their own countries, because in every country, whoever the blackest person in that country is discriminated against. So it's a universal language.
There is definitely a form of universality, and thank you for giving up some of your time. I know you're highly expected on the presentation of your film. With La Radio du Cinéma, we wish you best of luck for a prompt change here at Cannes.
Thank
you
you
so much.
Merci.